welcome to Was It Love or Was It Stupidity? You know me, Vixay Baby Moten Richardson, aka V Baby. You know, I'm the author of 2 books. The first one, How I Love Someone Else's Child While I Suffer, and the second one, I was a virgin when I married him, but he caused me to be treated like a prostitute. That book goes on to say, my journey to becoming Vicky Vixay, it took 43 years. Today, I'm going to be reading from my book, How I Love Someone Else's Child While I Suffered. But before I get started with that book, I want to thank you for those who have encouraged me. I want to thank those who have subscribed. I want to thank those that even when I'm down and out, get a little discouraged sometimes. I even get depressed. God sends somebody to cheer me up. I just want to remind you today that I'm not trying to do this podcast to become popular. I'm not trying to do this podcast to even get pity and make people think that I've gone through so much that I need their sympathy. You know what I really am doing this podcast? I'm really doing this podcast because from my heart, from the very bottom of my heart, I do not want to see anybody go through what I have gone through. My stubbornness, my disobedience to God, my hard head, my trying to do things my way, trying to always be right, trying to be the one who helped everybody. It all led to a lot of unhappiness. And many, many, many times, because of my choices, I've hated my own life. Many, many times. So I don't want to see anybody else who says they love God have to go through a life of misery, go through a life of pain and suffering. I'm trying to help as many people as I can, and I pray that it's helping you. Don't forget to subscribe, and don't forget to comment below and interact with me, because I want to hear from you, because I know I'm not the only one out there who's done something that they thought was for love, but it was actually for stupidity. But today I'm coming from this book because I was totally sold out to God at this time. And I was working in the accounting department of a hospital. And my manager came to me and said, "You are one of the best workers we have ever had." Yes, they did. And they said, "I will give you a raise to an accounting's position. All you have to do is go find a school, and that justifies me giving you the position." I looked high and I looked low. There was no school that I could afford. And at that time, way back in the 90s, $22 an hour would have solved all the bankruptcy problems that this young man had left me in. But you know what? Listen closely. I was working in the accounting department of a hospital, and my manager came to me and said, "You are such a good worker, and I have an accountant's position available. I would like to give it to you. All you have to do is enroll in school for an accounting, and the promotion is yours." In 1989, I said 1990, $22 would have solved all my financial worries. I had already filed bankruptcy and was barely making it through the garnishments and working overtime with 5 kids. This was the solution to my problem. The $22 an hour would have certainly cleared up a lot of my mess that my ex-husband left me in. Maybe for those who have not been assigned to love someone else's child, that would have been the situation. But as soon as this position was handed to me or offered to me, my oldest tried to commit suicide. And guess what God told me to do? He told me to quit my job to take care of her. Out of obedience to God, I did what he told me to do. The devil later told me that it was stupidity. But always obeying God which is the title of today's podcast. Always obey God. I went on and did it. So I'm not calling that stupid, because obeying God is never stupid. It's always the wise thing to do. But after you go through so much, sometimes the devil will tell you, that was dumb, like you did me. And I almost gave in to it. But instead, I continued to love this person with everything God gave me. And for me, today's answer, it was love, not stupidity. Go out and get my books. Don't forget to remember, like I tell you each week, never fall in love with somebody before you become their friend. It's very important that you don't do that. Follow me on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and X. And I'll see you next week, God willing, and have a blessed day.